Hi, this is Erin from the Witch of Saturn. Welcome back to my channel. This is the third and final video in my deck overhaul reorganization series, and we have success. So here's the top cabinet in my deck pantry, where I ended up deciding to do all of my bagged decks up on the top shelf. I really like the way these all look together. In my head, they just all go together more as one category rather than if I split them up into different categories. I did move them off of my desk just because of the weight issue, but I really like them along the top here. It just brings me a lot of joy to see them all together. I think they're super pretty, so that's where they're living now, and I am happy that I was able to fit some of the different sized bags, like the one all the way in the far right corner that keeps carrot tarts in it. I couldn't fit that on the shelf before with the other bagged decks, so that's a nice addition that the depth of this cabinet allows me to do that. On the second row, I started off with my Jamie Sawyer deck collection and then moved into more of those niche indie decks that we talked about in my last video. Now on this shelf, I do have a couple of decks in the back. So I have this Taylor Swift deck tucked behind here. I don't use that very much. It's just sentimental. My sister-in-law bought it for me and I'm a Swiftie, so I love it, never getting rid of it. Behind here, I have some of my backup Jamie Sawyer decks. So you can see those tucked behind here. I have my backup Felt Tarot or my Felt Tarot Tuckbox. My original Redux lives back there because my new Redux lives up here. It doesn't bother me to have decks in this back row here because I can easily reach them and pull them out, and I'm specifically not like they're decks that I'm not going to be grabbing for very often. This shelf surprisingly was the first shelf I put away when I was reorganizing, because I knew that as part of this project, something that was really important to me was to be able to have all of my guidebooks in an accessible area that was separate from my bookshelf, which is where I keep my reference books. So to me, these are very different. These are very different categories of books and needs. I'd like all of the guidebooks to be somewhere close to the decks so that when I'm grabbing a particular deck, I can easily grab the guidebook that goes with it. You will see at the very end here that I have a couple of books that I specifically use for tarot readings. So they got lumped in, and also like this is a workbook for Spirit Keepers Tarot. The other thing that was important for me to have a really good dedicated spot for that I could easily access are my notebooks here. So these are all of my astrology notebooks and my tarot notebooks. You can see here that I just have a ton of notes on like the different decans. So this is one of my very first tarot notebooks. I put the sticker from Pocket of Peers on here, and you can see it's kind of beat up, but has a ton of notes on all of the cards. My astrology notebooks, the same. All of the notes of all of the courses that I've ever taken. This is just like how my brain processes. And these are some of my most prized possessions. And I use this all the time. And I pull information from here when I'm doing readings and prepping people's charts. On this shelf, I ended up utilizing this tiered clear acrylic shelf. And I think that this works in this particular instance because it's not filled with decks. So these are my daughter's decks here so that they could easily come in and, you know, my youngest daughter loves these tiles, and then my older daughter has her card decks. And then I have the little pocket decks that I don't use that often up here, but I can still easily grab them and put them back. I'm sure that this will get rearranged as more things come into my collection, but for now I just like the way that this looks. And then over here I have more, bags of tiles or runes that I can easily grab and get to. This bottom shelf really is the mass market graveyard. These are decks I'm not using that much, but when I do need them, I can pull them out very easily from this back row. In here, I kept more of these niche oracles, the animal decks, crystal decks, herbal decks. This way I could just pull this whole thing out if I wanted to, or easily pull a deck out to use. In this tray, I put little bagged oracles that I could go through and grab whichever I need or pull the whole thing out. This is a couple of the big box oracles, but then back row is all of those mass market decks or the big boxed mass market decks or the holiday decks. Overall, I'm really happy with the way that this came out. I think it's going to be really easy for me to use, to keep neat, and to see everything. After I put my guidebooks away, the next thing that I addressed was my Witchy deck collection. I liked keeping the Witchy decks up here in their own section, and I really wanted to have all of the seasons of the witch oracles included with this. I think they're really pretty all together like this. Even though I'm only using them very seasonally, it's still nice for me to just see them included. So I have those here along with some other witchy oracles. I don't mind having the little bagged earthbound right here. I use this a lot and I'm not pulling these out on a regular basis, so that works for me. And then I have my other witchy decks, tarot and stuff up here. This is something I'm not quite sure about yet. So it was important to me to have these decks that are really pretty right here on display above my desk, where I can easily pull them if I want to and just so that I can see them. However, I had to raise this shelf in order to be able to just pull them out. Like a big problem last time was that if I wanted to use the Moonchild Tarot, I really had to pull other decks out and kind of maneuver it out from underneath the shelf. So this was important for me to be a practical change so that, you know, I can just pull this out. It doesn't even matter if I have these crystals and stuff here because I can just go right over them. The other thing I like about these decks, like this will probably at some point get replaced because I like that I can arrange them so that they don't have words on them. Even the ones that do, like the cracked amethyst or peculiar pathways, I can turn them, flip them, and hide that because I just think that they're so pretty without any words on them. So now this is the part where I'm not sure, I don't really like this, or I should say I don't love this. I do like having some of these decks, you know, at the ready where I could easily grab them, like Scarab and Dahlia, Little Bird. I don't love these bagged decks on their sides. And quite honestly, I feel like I might prefer to do like some little jars of herbs or something here that I could use in candle spells. So this will probably be something that I end up reworking as time goes on. On this side, I did the heavy hitter oracles. So all of the oracles that I reach for on a regular basis are here. There is a little bit of congestion still. Like I just couldn't figure out where to keep these blue bones. Still hoping that eventually I can find that Tuckbox, get it out of this bag and figure that out. But for now, you know, it's just like, if this is the one problem I have to deal with, it's not that bad. Put dog bone right here, front and center. Like heart align I'm reaching for a lot, but not so much connected and free or whole again. So I'm okay with this little like decks on display here. Same thing with this mini stack. I have this in front of diviner definitions where I could just slide this over to be able to reach that. Not 100% ideal, but it was more important to me to have all of these together on this side of the desk than it was to make sure that there was zero overlap. So this is still tidy and clean enough for me that it's not going to drive me nuts. And then last but not least, I did keep these big boxed decks up here on top of my desk, partly because when I redid the top of my desk here, I did it with the height of these in consideration. So rather than try to move these into the cabinet and kind of redo the whole decor on the top of my desk, I figured that I could keep these here. These are the boxed decks that I am reaching for on a more regular basis. Like I'm using Tarot Vampires, Witches Through History a lot. I really like the Illustrated Herbiary. Darkwood is new to me. I'm excited to have, explore this a little bit more. The Wild Unknown is a very sentimental deck. Let's say it's like my second tarot deck that I got really into. The Tao box, I'm hoping to use more. Now that I replaced it, my first box was missing a card and that just irked me. And then I just really love the artwork on the Modern Witch, so that makes me happy. Okay, thank you guys all so much for watching and for being a part of this process with me. I really love organizing, and I obviously really love tarot and deck collecting, so to be able to do a little video series that combined all three of those things was really a lot of fun. I hope that it was helpful for you to see just some different ways that you could categorize decks, or to inspire you to figure out a really good system of organization for you, or even different techniques on organizing. Like, for instance, I just organized my kids' closets, where I had to do that switch over from summer clothes to winter clothes now, and I have a almost 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they're both girls. It's a lot of clothes that all kind of look the same. And so I did the same technique with that, where I pulled everything out of their closets, went through, categorized, organized, pulled out the things that no longer fit, put in the new things, and then put everything away. So that's a system that really works for me. I also do that even when I'm putting away groceries, where I'll kind of open the fridge and pull out all of the big stuff first and then put everything away. So I hope that maybe that will help some people. Let me know if you use any of those techniques or your favorite ways to organize. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon, but not for any more organizing videos, at least at this time. I think we're good for a while. Have a great day. Oh, and surprise, guess what else came back? The Tuckbox graveyard. There was no getting around it. I was able to tighten it up a little bit and put it in this larger box so that I could pull it out if I ever need to access it. And then there are some of the big box empty deck boxes here. Those decks are currently in bags in the cabinet, but yeah, the Tuckbox graveyard will continue. RIP.